Calaroga Shark Media.
Hi there, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. Good news, the Mr. Rogers stamp is back. The U.S. Postal Service held a stamp encore contest, a public vote to celebrate the Postal Service's 250th birthday. They put 25 stamp designs up for a vote and asked people to decide which one deserves to come back. Competing in the field were Disney characters, Snoopy, popsicles, polka dots. Mr. Rogers won by more than 40,000 votes. The original Mr. Rogers neighborhood stamp was issued in 2018. Isaac is the Postal Service's Chief Processing and Distribution Officer. He said, when we issued the Mr. Rogers stamp in 2018, we offered a print run of some 12 million. That might sound like a lot, but Mr. Rogers really took us by surprise. Within just a few weeks, the stamps honoring this humble, soft-spoken man had sold out completely. So they're bringing it back. The original design was a photograph of Mr. Rogers in his signature cardigan alongside King Friday the 13th, and is now returning as a forever stamp in panes of 20. This time, there are also 4 image souvenir stamp sheets featuring Rogers and his other beloved characters from the neighborhood. The stamp designer Derry kept the design in the spirit of Mr. Rogers. She said it's all about the man and his universal appeal, which will carry on. The best I can do as a graphic designer is to portray him clearly, straightforward, and without gimmicks, just as he would have wanted. Good news for whales in San Francisco Bay, and there are a lot more whales than you realize. A new AI-powered detection system called Whale Spotter has launched. It runs around the clock scanning the water for whales. When it spots a whale, it sends real-time alerts to ferry operators and cargo ships so they can slow down. Thomas Hall is the director of operations for San Francisco Bay Ferry and explained they'll be able to make adjustments way before they get anywhere close to the whales. It will help us track data over time and see where the whales are camping out so we can adjust our routes during whale season to avoid the areas completely. Here's why this is a big deal. Last year, 21 dead gray whales were found in the Bay Area. That was the highest number in 25 years. At least 40% of those deaths were caused by ship strikes. So far this year, at least 10 have passed away from the same cause. The system uses thermal cameras that can operate at night and through the thick fog that's common in the Bay Area. When they first switched the system on, detections came flooding in almost immediately. Douglas McCauley, the director of the lab behind the product, said suddenly to have a full sense of how much whale activity is in this space, honestly, put me a little bit on edge. This is pretty exciting, especially if you know anybody affected by ALS, a drug called tofersen, Tofersen, brand name Qalsody, Qalsody, has apparently shown remarkable results in slowing and in some cases actually reversing symptoms of a specific form of ALS. A new study published in the medical journal JAMA found that more than 20% of patients who received the drug showed improved strength and function after 3 years. Wow. Dr. Timothy Miller is with Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis, and he said this is the first study where we see a really dramatic stabilization and slowing. I think we know from this study that ALS is treatable. He called the improvement results not just stabilization, but actual improvement. He called it eye-catching and wowing. He explained after 3 years, you would normally expect 0 patients to show improvement. Jessica is 37. She developed symptoms in early 2022. Her left knee kept buckling by the end of the year. She was dependent on a wheelchair. She started taking tofersen in December of that year. A few months later, she explains, one night in March, I went to walk up my stairs and my body just naturally took the step. My husband was behind me. We looked at each other and he was like, did you just do that? Between then and my next doctor's appointment, I started using my wheelchair a little less and then a little less. These days, she no longer uses a wheelchair. She's getting around with a cane. That's great job, doctors. In Texas, 3 golf fans decided the best way to honor golf was to stack nearly 20,000 golf balls into a pyramid, as one does. Yes, Michael, Debbie, and Terry led some volunteers at Brynbrook Lake. Their finished pyramid contained 19,019 golf balls stacked in 38 rows. That beat the previous world record of 17,575 set in 2022. The team was not allowed to use any adhesives, nothing else to hold the balls in place. Okay, folks, if the sign says road closed, there's probably a reason. In Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, a driver came across a barricade blocking off a section of highway at the interchange of I-41 and National Avenue. The barricade was there for a reason. There were signs, there were barriers, everything was marked. The driver didn't care, moved the barrier to the side, and drove right into the wet concrete. The pickup trunk sank, and there it sat. The police showed up. They had to bring a road crew that had heavy machinery to pull the truck out. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation posted about it on social media, saying the driver had cemented their inability to adhere to signs. They remind us, crews place barricades and signs for your safety and theirs. Please never remove or ignore road closed signs or any other types of barriers where this might happen to you. And those are your 5 good news stories for today. Have a great day.